to our couple of days, 48 hours before kickoff press conference. And excited about the game, man. Excited to get started. I think our team they're ready to play another opponent. It's been a long 31 days and a good 31 days, but you get to a point where you're tired of practicing and you want to play. And that's where they're at right now. We're very fortunate going into this game that our team is ready, is healthy, is ready to go. I don't expect anybody not to be able to play in the game. And in our 2 deep, which I think we released today. And I think that we'll get after it and do the best we possibly can to play with great effort on every single snap and see how physical we can play on Saturday night. That is the challenge to our team. Can we be extremely physical? So we'll see. Looking forward to a great crowd. Looking forward to the day we don't have to talk about the crowd. Looking forward to the day that the crowd is just here. But we're getting closer to that. We sold 1,000 tickets this morning from what I was told. So we're 1,000 up from what we were yesterday when Dave spoke. So that's a good sign. And as we get closer to the game, hopefully that will continue. And we'll be at a point in time that we are a sellout at Arizona Stadium every time we play. So that is the goal. And the goal is to not have to talk about that any further. So any questions?
Michael? Yes, I'm Michael Levin, Arizona Daily Star. We make a big deal out of the depth chart. We in media, it's information, talk about it and look at it and so forth. How big of a deal do you make out of it with the players? How do you explain it to them when they see their name maybe lower than they might have hoped?
Yeah, I would think that you would have to be unaware as a player to know where you are in the depth chart by this point in time based on, we run groups of the ones are up, the twos are up, the threes are up, the basics are up, which is our really period at the end of practice where we really want to see our younger players get better and improve. And guys that haven't had a lot of reps in practice have what ends up being about 8 reps against one another, offense versus defense, something that I took from my time in New England that not many other programs do. Actually, none that I was a part of before. That at the end of practice, you get 8 guys that didn't take a lot of reps to go against 8 plays of 11 on 11. So I think that I don't think our team would be surprised at all on the depth chart. What it looks like, I would be shocked if anyone came and knocked on my door about that. But the key is this: the depth chart is for this game and this game only. And depending on how people play, will determine if the depth chart moves at certain positions. And that's really just a starting point.
We'll go Brian and then David.
Brian Peterson, AC Desert Storm. Considering it's the season opener, the film that you may look at for NAU, is it kind of irrelevant and you kind of need to be more concerned with what you guys are doing and what the opponent is going to line up in?
Are you guys messing with me, giving me your names? I mean, we're in year 3 by now, gosh. I do know all of you by now, and this is something we could have done in 2021, would have been helpful, but now at this point, I think we're good. Brian from AZ Desert Swarm. The question that you just asked me was about the tape. Honestly, the real focus for us is going to be how good can we play? How good can we execute? I've certainly watched their last 6 games that they played last season. Did not spend a lot of time focusing in on our game from 2 years ago. Obviously, I watched it. I watched, most of the plays that have been run against their defense. And game 1, though, week one of a season, if it's not about you, I don't know what it's about. I don't know who can really figure out what a team's going to do. We put certainly a lot of new stuff in. I'm sure that they did as well. So the key really is going to be how we execute our offense and our defense and our kicking game.
David?
Jedd, I know a lot of us look at your depth chart and think, certain player maybe still a position somebody we thought was going to be a starter. How do you look at that in terms of your evaluation process, what can you allow another guy standing in front of someone else?
And you are who again? David, yes, I think that as we looked at it in all of the competitive periods, The guys are understanding where they're fitting in and where they're, showing up, and they know that the competition's not over. So maybe, there's a player that might be starting the game. You can only start 11. So there might be a time where somebody's starting the game, and then in the third series, someone else is going in. And then if that series he plays better than the other guy did in series 1 and 2, he might end up having series 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then the depth chart might be adjusted next week. But, there's always going to be constant competition. I don't believe there's many people that there's always going to be disappointment. Everybody wants to be the starter. Everybody wants to be the guy. Everybody wants to be, the person that goes out there first, let's call it. Well, you've got 3 phases you could start in. You could start in the kicking game. You could start on defense, and you could start on offense. So you have 33 spots that are available depending on how the game goes. So whether you're a starter on kickoff return or kickoff, whether you're a starter on defense or offense, I guess there's 44 spots. So we'll see what that looks like. And then I've just challenged them that competition is the central theme of our program. We've talked about that consistently. And that's never going to change throughout the year. And if we can't get guys to make other guys better by trying to take their job, then, they'll have no chance of playing at the next level, where that's all you do is try to take somebody else's job.
Justin and then back corner.
Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
Justin.
The importance of having guys like Nick Foles come back and be an honorary captain and Rob Aldridge. I know honorary captains have been a thing in the program since you come here. Just we make those guys come back and just the honorary captain system.
Yeah, that's it's something that I feel very strongly on. I think it's a really, really important part of the tradition we're trying to build. Since I've been here, we're trying to do everything we can to make those honorary captains a special select crew. And to get Nick to come back, I don't think I've ever met Nick. And I've coached in the NFL for a lot of years, and he played in the NFL for a lot of years. And there was never a crossover, whether he was a player and I was a coach, whether we were working him out, whatever it might have been. So I had Matt Scott at Jacksonville, but I'd never had Nick. And so to have him back here is awesome. And it's great for our crowd. It's great for our fans. His wife was an athlete here as well. So you've got 2, very, 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 very special Arizona Wildcats coming back. And then with Rob coming back, now you're talking about another Hall of Famer. And we've made a huge emphasis on bringing attention to the players at Arizona that has made it into the College Football Hall of Fame. And there's only 4 of them. And 3 of them are very active in our program. So to get Rob to come back as well, we feel like we've won the honorary captain week. This is a big week for Arizona football to get those guys back.
Alex.
Hi, Coach Fisch. Alex Kennedy with Chronic News here. Your team pulled off a really great season last year, tying the second biggest win improvement in program history from 1 win in 2021 to 5 wins in 2022. I'm just wondering, how do you make sure you keep that positive trajectory of your program going as you into your last season in the Pac-12?
Yeah, well, I would say that our guys are extremely looking forward to seeing if they can get better and if they can be better than they were a year ago. And we have different goals this year. When you're coming off of a 1-11 season and an 0-5 season, and then and losing 7 of the year before, I mean, your whole mentality is so unique. And we didn't know last year going into San Diego State, are we ready to make the jump? Were we ready to become a team that could compete with a lot of these Pac-12 programs? I think at the end of last year, and as we progressed, really starting with week 1 when we played San Diego State, but all the way through to UCLA and ASU, we learned that. We learned that we can compete. We can compete with anybody we play against. And now we've brought in more players that are coming from winning programs. We brought in players that can help us immediately as starters. And on top of that, this team is ready to go. The guys that came back didn't come back not to get better and not to get to a bowl game and beyond. And that's what their mindset is every single day of practice.
We'll go Troy and then Mike.
So looking at the safety position, what was it about Gunnar and Dalton that won them that starting job this week?
I would say, consistency throughout the camp. That, IT was right there on every day those guys were fighting and rotating and doing everything he possibly can to get that spot. Dalton did a really nice job at that boundary safety position. And DJ Winnell was competing with him, and Gunnar gave us this flexibility that we were able to move Gunner around, and then we started moving IT around. And, I think that you're going to see them all play. I think you're going to see IT play a lot, but Gunner took a big jump this year from last season to training camp, spring ball, training camp. And IT's continuing to improve. Dalton's continuing to improve. And I think these three safeties, plus DJ Winnell, there's going to be a lot there. And then don't forget about Genesis Smith. Genesis is young. I know he's not necessarily listed right now. I don't know where he is, but he's certainly an oar, and he certainly will be playing. And we will get Genesis into games. He's got great range. He's got great ability to make plays. And I think the safety position's in a good spot right now.
Second year in a row, you've got a true freshman starting at that right guard spot. It was one thing for someone to do it when they were here in spring, which Big Jonah was. Polito didn't get here until summer. What did he show you guys pretty much right off the bat that allowed you to trust him to take that role?
I'd start with, it's kind of ironic that they're both right guards. There's not like a plan, like play the freshman right guard. It just happened to have worked out that way. The size that Polito walks in with and his high school film told us that, not in the same regard as T-Mac when he walked in, but close, that we said, we're expecting this guy to walk in here and start. That was an expectation from the film we saw in high school. That was an expectation when he made the decision to sign with us, and where we knew we were with our depth chart, that this was going to be a great opportunity. Now, was he going to play right tackle and keep Jonah at guard? Was he going to play guard and move Jonah out? That was really the big discussion that we had as a coaching staff. And Coach Carroll felt that the best way for us to get the best five out there for opening day was going to be have Raymond at guard and Jonah at tackle.
Go Jason and Brian for our last
I think one of the bigger surprises, at least just the depth chart, is Keith Savea getting started. What made him get started? And then also, was he part of that the last game of the season? The objections for the targeting and all that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was ejected at the end there. I probably need to check that to make sure he's allowed to start.
A couple guys from ASU they're out for the first half tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that I probably need to double check on. I did not. I thought the guys that were ejected were guys that were not here anymore for the have to miss the first half. But I'll double check that. That's a great point. I would say that the other part of it is with Tia. If you remember how he played against UCLA when he was healthy, blocked a field goal, made some huge tackles. Then you go ASU, caused a fumble, picked up the ball, scooped the ball, gave us another 20 yards or so on top of that. I think the way he was been playing now that he's healthy again, he missed about 7 days in training camp with soft tissue injury. But the last 7 days or so, he came back at a very high level. And we believe that when Tia is playing healthy and selfless and ready to really take on the responsibility of being a three technique, I think he's one of the better ones that we'll see in this league.
That's our time.
Thank you.